You know, in a way, somewhere the crisis in a way of the Congress party is being almost equated with the crisis of Indian secularism. You know, today's a decent day. You know, today one of your leaders, your sort of so-called Kashmiri Muslim face, Ghulam Nabi Azad, has left your party angrily. You know, so I think what has happened, it appears almost that the decline of the Congress, which many believe by 2047 may not even be around, or maybe a much weakened force, leads people to believe that will we, in a way, continue to embrace the Congress's vision of secularism, or are we now moving to a more BJPized Hindutva view of our constitutional republic? I think that's what I'm asking. In the next 25 years, do you see those forces getting momentum as you and your party get weakened?
As I say, the Congress view of secularism is actually by and large the majority Indian view. And let's not forget that
it got warped by vote bank politics.
In the polls.
It got warped by vote bank politics of majority communalism and minority. You ran with the secular hare and hunted with the communal hound.
Look, you know how long I've been in the Congress? 13 years. And in these 13 years, I have never had any truck with communalism by any faith. I have not hesitated to criticize majority communalism, and I have not hesitated to criticize minority communalism. My view very simply is we've got to live together. I mean, I am a deep Bhakt of Vivekanand, who taught us very simply that Hinduism is not just about tolerance, it is about acceptance. The tolerant guy is basically very patronizing.
Also ready to fight for Hinduism, you remember, right?
Yeah,
he said if you try to forcibly convert me, I'll go and actually fight you.
No, but what is the idea of Hinduism he's talking about? He said, I mean, what is tolerance? Tolerance says, I have the truth, you are in error, but I will indulge you in your right to be wrong.
Believe in mutual respect.
Whereas, exactly, acceptance says, I believe I have the truth, you believe you have the truth, I will respect your truth, please respect my truth.
Hinduism is exceptional in that way, and therefore, to preserve the Hindu character of Indian civilization.
So that's not just Congress secularism, boss, that's what our civilization, in my view, is all about. But if you have a different view that says that you reduce the Hindu identity to that of the British football hooligan, and you say, if you don't support my team, I'll bash you on the head. That's not Hinduism.
No, but Harsh, as we end this segment, the question arises, is this going to become more and more of what is described as a majoritarian country? As you move ahead, where, in a sense, we have a parliament.
I'll answer you that very simply.
Where we have a parliament, for example, where the party ruling the country with more than 400 MPs between the two houses doesn't have a single Muslim MP today. Now, does that worry you? Should we be worried that the fact is we have one of the largest Muslim populations in the world, and somewhere or the other, every day there is a dog whistle or some element of demonization? Will that increase, intensify going into 2047?
First of all, the demonization is both ways. Like Sartan Sajuda, I just recounted to you. So it's not one way. Secondly, India is the only democracy worth its name between Israel and South Korea. Again, it's not a coincidence that it's a Hindu majority in this part of the world. Now, to answer your question, I fully agree, and I'm worried. I want to see a strong opposition. However, to see a strong opposition, the Congress, or whatever replaces the Congress, will have to give ground on the Uniform Civil Code, on 370. The Congress party has still not accepted the abrogation of 370. Kejriwal was smart enough, at least to rhetorically accept it. Now, if today I, as a median voter who's not a member of any political party, by the way, I cannot trust the Indian National Congress to preserve and defend the Indian national interests despite their massive Hori lineage, because currently, the people who are on charge, they just don't inspire that confidence.
No, but beyond the Congress and BJP, Shashi Tharoor, Uniform Civil Code, inevitably, in the next 25 years, you know, do you believe that a Uniform Civil Code is almost inevitable, given the fact that if you want equality of citizenship, have equal laws? Why should we, 1950s
Directive
India,
principles of the
where
Constitution,
there were concerns post-partition that Nehru may have expressed, which is why a particular direction was taken by the Indian Republic, is very different from India in 2022. Do you believe a uniform civil code is an idea whose time has come?
Look, Nehru said himself it's a very desirable objective. But he also said you've got to take people along with you. He had so many difficulties passing the Hindu Code Bill. You remember Ambedkar resigning over it. The fact is that when reforming religious personal law is the most difficult thing in a traditional hidebound society, change comes gradually.
But you believe it should.
He said 370 was a temporary provision. What we objected to, I spoke for the Congress in the Lok Sabha, was the way in which this was done and the manner in which it was conducted and the precedent
It reminds me of St. Augustine, who said, God give me chastity but not yet. You know, the Congress's position on the Common Civil Code, the secular civil code, and I don't think the Congress is a party of secularism. It's a very bastardized version of pseudo-secularism. Sorry to be very clear. Panth Nirpeksh is the dharmic sense of secularism, not dharma nirpeksh. You cannot be neutral to dharma. You have to be panth nirpeksh. You're not panth nirpeksh if you have different laws. Show me the religion, I'll show you the law. That is not secular anywhere in the world. Why is the Congress party either opposing it, or Shashi, when he has to speak in more global audiences, said we agree with it but we won't do it just yet? Why don't you get ahead of the train so that people say, wait a second, this Congress party we can trust? And by the way, the Indian Muslims will vote for the party who can get moderate Hindus. Because if you become the de facto Muslim League, even the Muslims will not vote for you because you're not electable. That's the only way to actually have a strong opposition in the country. For your own survival, you must actually become electable.